Hi guys, it's your loyal apostle here, and I'm introducing the first ever deck profile of Soul Anarchy. And he's coming at us with his 6 Samurai deck profile, so strap in everybody, and let's start.
Well, to start off with, just the usual, 3 Kageki of the 6 Samurai, just our general tuner. Useful effect, never used.
Never has been used.
No, I think I've only ever seen maybe an AI use it. A certain Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro's broken AI.
And he means broken in a very negative way.
Yeah, it doesn't know how to run 6 Sams.
Or any deck, for that matter, unless it's very basic.
Yeah.
Alright, so go on.
Next up, 3 Kageki.
Alright, explain his effect.
Once he's normal summoned, you can use his effect to special summon another 6 Samurai level of level 4 or lower. And he also gains 1500 attack when there's another 6 Samurai in the field. So, typical play would be to play Kageki first, and then use his effect to special summon Kagemusha. And then to make Almighty Death God of just negating everything.
Allison, that's his name.
Allison, yes, I like this name. Allison, the legendary 6 Samurai. Next up, 3 Elder of the 6 Samurai. Just the general Cyber Dragon, special summon stuff. Very good just if you want to stall out, or even get a beast, Shien, Madison. Her name is now Madison. Next up, 1 Spirit.
Alright, this is a tech card, I'm assuming?
Yes, it is. Equip it to Madison, and when Madison destroys a monster, I'm allowed to draw 1 more card. This is really good because I tend to really overextend with this deck, because I just play out and kind of just swarm. So anything that allows me to have a hand is good.
Yeah.
And also, just if Madison would be destroyed, I can destroy this instead. Next up, 1 Hand of the 6 Samurai. Effect is to tribute any 6 Samurai monster to destroy 1 card. And I can do this multiple times per turn. In fact, Hand can even tribute herself to get this effect. And yes, that actually does work. Just believe me on this. Next up is Mizuho, the legendary 6 Samurai, who is the younger version of Hand.
Actually, a good thing to note about Mizuho and Hand is that these are cards that can easily get over Ophion.
Yes, they are. Mizuho's effect is, if you control Shien on the field, which I don't even run, you can special summon this card. Its other effect is, once per turn, you contribute another 6 Samurai monster to pop 1 card on the field. Any card. This is really goddamn useful. So, Ophion, suck it. Next up, Irou. When you control another 6 Samurai monster, Irou will, when he attacks over a face-down monster, instantly destroys it. So,
without flipping a face up.
No flipping at all. So, no effects are activated. No marshmallows, no Raikos, nothing. Next up, 1 Zanji. Now here's a card whose effect I really don't use often. I tend to more just summon him and overlay him for Excalibur or some other ones. But his effect can be useful if you're playing against a very defensive deck, like Marshmallow. When you control another 6 Samurai monster, when this card attacks at the end of the damage step, the monster this card is battling is destroyed.
Just to note, actually, on 6 Samurai effects, they can only be resolved and applied while there's another on the field. This is the original 6 Samurai now. But the issue with Zanji is, if you attack and Zanji would be destroyed, he'll still get his effect, but he has to be destroyed himself. If you destroyed Irou instead, his effect won't come into play, and he'll be both destroyed, and you'll be left 2 less monsters.
I actually did not know that. Thank you.
I found that out the hard way against Chaos Agents.
Ooh.
On Death Row, so it was...
Damn. Next up, the staple summoner, summoning card. 3 Kizan. This is just a near broken card, to be honest.
It is insane.
If you control any 6 samurai monster on the field, say I control just Zanji, I can special summon Kizan from my hand straight away. And when I control 2 or more 6 samurai monsters other than this Kizan, so if I had these 3 Kizans in the field, all of them gain 300 points in attack each. So they instantly become 21 monsters. And lastly, 2 Grandmaster of the 6, the older version of Kizan. A similar effect to Kizan, when you control another 6 samurai monster, you can special summon this from your hand. If Grandmaster would be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can take 1 6 samurai monster back from the graveyard to your hand. You usually just do this to get your Kizans back to your hand, or even if this was destroyed, take it back to the extra deck. Next up we have spells. Now here's just the staples to finish off. Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Book of the Moon, and Smashing Ground. Nothing there really needs to be said, and I'm not going to repeat what hundreds of other people have said. Next up, main searching of the deck. 3.
The deck so broken.
Yeah, I actually can't believe they actually brought that up back to 3.
Yeah, well, they're not topping all over the world, so I suppose it's...
Well, they're topping New Zealand.
Yes.
2 in New Zealand, top 8. But yeah, so this will let me get my hand, my Mizuho, my Kagemusha, my Kageki, and my Elder. So, over half the monsters in my deck can be searched out with just this one card. And I usually open with at least one almost every time. Next up, 1 Reinforcements of the Army. Again, like Smoke Signal, except I can now search for everything except Grandmaster from my deck. So, really, really useful card. 2 Asceticism of the 6. Really useful card. Its effect is to, when you select 1 6 samurai monster on the field and special summon 1 6 samurai monster of a different name with the same attack from your deck to the field. In the end phase, both these monsters are destroyed, so you best synchro with them or exceed with them straight away. Common strategy with this would be special summon Elder from your hand, and then use this to get Kagemusha and sync for Shien or Naturia Beast. Next up, 3 6 Samurai United. Our main draw power of the deck. Every time a 6 samurai is normal summoned or special summoned, add 1 counter to this card. When you send this, you can send this card to the graveyard, and for each counter on this card, max 2, you can draw that many cards. You can also use the counters for Gateway of the Sick, which allows you to do even more searching. Next up, 1 Shien's Dojo. This is more of a tech card. I'm only really testing this out still. I find it's really useful if I open up with 2 monsters that I can just summon from my hand, but don't have my tuner. So I summon both these monsters, get the tuner, and I sync straight away.
Yeah, it's a really useful card actually. A few lads up in Dublin actually topped, or not actually won a few locals. Not locals, big deal, right? But
in Ireland actually, it is a big deal.
Yes, it is. We've so few. Played 3 dojos into 1 deck, which is very interesting actually. 3 dojos, 3 units, 1 gateway.
That's something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Next up, Gateway of the Broken.
Gateway of the Broken. That's his actual name.
Yes,
that right there is a typo.
Yes, see there? Yeah, no, I'm covering the part so you just don't see the rest of it. But no, Gateway of the Broken. Just the amount of loops and special summoning you can just cause with this 1 card.
And actually the first effect is just insane sometimes.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to say this to people, this is not a once per turn effect. People have tried to catch me on this, with the first effect, that saying you can only use it once per turn. No, you can spend 2 counters constantly to beef up your monsters. To spend 4 counters, you then search out any 6 samurai monster from your deck. So typically you'll go for your Kizans or your Grandmasters to special summon them and get 2 more counters straight away. And then 6 counters just to reborn 1 Shi En monster. Maybe the little apostate can correct me on this, but would this work on Legendary 6 Samurai Shi En?
It wouldn't, because that's why his name is Shi En as opposed to Shien.
Damn it.
Yeah. But
Again.
interesting to note though,
The Shadow.
Shadow is a Shien monster and a 6 samurai monster, so he can be summoned with the last effect to get away.
That's actually interesting though. So there's a little thing for you if you want an instant 25 monster. Although I doubt you'd want to go for Shadow without his materials.
Yeah. Wouldn't be much point. But just in case you needed the 2,500 attack points.
Next up, for the traps, 3 Musakani Magatama.
The discard is very practical in our group.
Oh yes. Up here in Dundalk, almost everyone runs a deck that destroys. I am not kidding. We have at least 3 Dark Worlds decks in this area alone. This deck
And we have a very small group.
of about maybe 20
Yeah.
max, not even 20 I don't think. And
It's getting
yes, it's getting higher, which is good.
Higher.
But yes,
We see very few Fire Fists.
you're the only Fire Fist.
Shut up.
But yes, this card negates any card effect, spell, trap, or monster effect that destroys, and destroy that. This actually works on Zen mains. When it activates in Zen end phase, it's destroy a card. You can chain this and stop its effect, and even get rid of one of its materials as well.
Or you can get rid of it if you've gotten rid of them. Actually, very interesting. Quite ironically, it can negate Shien, Beast, and Barkion, as well as Stardust Dragon.
Yes,
So-
it can negate Stardust Dragon's effect because broke. But yeah, I've seen people that only run maybe 2 or 1. I don't get it really.
It's also like a bringing counter towards Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning,
Yeah,
because they negate as well.
and they still have to pay the cost for it. So, bye-bye half your life points. Next up, 2 double-edged sword techniques. This is a really useful card. I usually set one, and then I would synchro, and then next turn I would synchro again by activating this and get back both monsters. Or, if I was going for no DK, I would special summon 2 Kizans, sync for Excalibur, detach both of them, activate this, and get them back in, and sync again. Exceed again. So, really good card, but you really do need to exceed or synchro, or else you're going to really suffer. Because its effect is to special summon 2 6 samurai monsters from your graveyard. And in the end phase, if these cards are still on the field, you take damage equal to their attack. So, be very careful when you're using this card.
Actually, interesting to know, if you bring back Spirit and Shien with double-edged sword technique, during the end phase, they'll both be destroyed. But if you equip Spirit to Shien, you'll get a stage where Spirit is no longer treated as a monster. You need monsters treated as spell cards while they're actually equipped to the monster that's destroyed. So the only monster that's going to be destroyed is, in fact, Shien. So during the end phase, what will happen is Shien will be destroyed, but this card will take the destruction instead. So you can actually still keep your Shien on the field if you use double-edged sword technique.
Or just even Book-a-Moon him.
Yeah, that too.
So, you could just equip him to Shien, then Book-a-Moon that, and you keep both of them. So you don't suffer any 25 life point deduction. Next up, 1 compulsory evacuation device. Just one way to say no to any big monsters.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah, Zen mains, go away. Yes, Zen mains is a real problem up here, as the Lord Apostate has said time and time again.
We don't have Black Ship of Corn. I run Black Ship of Corn, but we don't have Black Ship of Corn. It's not legal here. We're hoping to get it in either the Battle Pack 2 or maybe Exceed Hunters when that new pack comes out. But for the moment, we don't have that, so we have very few ways to get over it. Instantly.
Well, there's Musakani Magatama.
Yeah, that's true.
2 Bottomless, 1 in really bad condition. unfortunately.
Adds consistency.
Adds a special consistency. But yeah, just instant banishment of a monster with 1500 attack or more.
And they're both rares.
Yeah, they're both rares. I've had these actually quite a few years. I used to collect Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger, but I got out of it years ago. So I've only actually gotten back into this with, when was it? October of last year. And this is the same deck that I'm still playing from that time, with a few adjustments. And the last card of the main deck, Mirror Force. Because to stop any OTKs or just big monsters in general.
It's actually quite interesting to note that very few players here actually play Starlight Road, so Mirror Force isn't actually that dangerous.
No. I think there's maybe 3 players that have Starlight Road in their deck.
Of Starlight Road, yeah.
Yeah.
Not many people main deck it.
And now for the extra deck. To start with, one legendary 6 samurai Shi En, who he's essentially just the boss monster of this deck, and you really want to try and get him at first turn every time.
And he's brilliant attack for level 5.
Oh yeah, he really is. 25 attack, which is pretty decent to be honest. And his effect is to negate 1 spell or trap per turn in either player's turn. So yes, you can activate in your turn, and then when your opponent's turn comes on, you can activate again. This is somewhat broken. But yeah. Also, Cataster can say no. No Cataster, you're not allowed to destroy him. Next up, one Naturia Beast.
And with, spellbooks becoming the meta, Beast is going to get a lot of plays.
Yes, it is. The fact is, when your opponent plays a spell card, you can mill the top 2 cards of your deck to negate it. The AI in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro and Dual Tech Pro, well, Dev Pro, sorry, it likes to mill its entire deck.
Yeah, that is an issue.
Yeah, it's a real issue and they really need to fix that. Next up, a Ghost Rare Naturia Barkion.
Adds consistency.
Adds a special consistency. I would prefer to have the Secret Rare because I prefer Secret Rares to every other archetype. Card rarity. Barkion's effect is whenever an opponent activates a trap card, banish 2 cards from your graveyard to negate the activation. And this can be any 2 cards, so you can send traps from your graveyard, spells, monsters, anything. This actually could be a lethal combination with Necroface if you cited that in. Next up, Stardust Dragon.
It speaks for itself.
Do I really need to say anything about this? Apart from the fact that it's rare and not shiny.
Hey, it's Turbo Pack.
Yeah, it is. Next up, Colossal Fighter.
Why wouldn't you use Colossal Fighter? Massive attack points.
And because this is an entirely warrior-based deck, usually when I summon him, he's at least 3,600 attack. And he's a nice little effect of when he's destroyed by battle, you can choose 1 warrior type from your graveyard and special summon him. So, straight away, he's back. He is incredibly powerful at times, especially when you're mirror dueling. Your opponent really can't handle him, for the most part. Next up is the rank 3 exceeds. 2 wind up Zenmains for stalling.
And actually the fact is you actually can focus on rank
Yes.
3s because you do run an extra Asceticism target for Hand and Mizuho.
Yes, I do. I just found that rank 3s can be really useful and have a lot of utility, like Zenmains. Next up, one Giga Brilliant in Ultra Rare from the Zexil tin. Really good card. If I when I detach 1, all monsters on my field gain a permanent 300 attack. So usually by turn 2, all monsters in my field have an extra 600. So really good card. Next up, one Ghost Rare Leviathan Dragon. Not really much to be said about that. It's detach 1, it's a 25 attack. Attack over your opponent's monsters. Enough said. 1 Mace Stroke. Instant Book of Moons, and just way of stalling out your opponent's attacks. 1 Steel Swarm Roach. My kind of answer to anything that's level 5 or over. So Element Dragons I really don't like. So this is really the only answer I have to them.
Yeah, at least we have this.
Yeah. Ophion, just go away. I like my Roach. Next up, 2 Excalibur. I would prefer to run a Blade Armor Ninja, but unfortunately I don't have one.
You'll get one soon.
I'll get one soon, hopefully. But yeah, 2 instant 4000 attack monsters, really good. And like I said earlier with that combo with the Kizans, it's usually game whenever I get these out. One number 39 Utopia, again a stall out monster.
That's a decent attack for rank 4. And it's splashable as well.
Is. Well, of course it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's Utopia. And finally it's actually becoming good again with all that ZW weapons support.
Yeah,
which makes me want to cry. And last one. Legendary Shadow of the Six Samurai, Shien. This guy I don't use all that often. I typically only ever try to get him out if I want to get a loop and I have Kageki out. Because his effect is when detach one material and make 1 Six Samurai monster's attack 2000.